Yo, what is going on, guys? Back here with round 8. Round 8 of Madison Regional's VOD review. We got Zach Lesage playing the QuadHoopa, attacking Hoopa, whatever you want to call it, versus Emmett Hurley playing ZoroPod. Got Zach going first, opening max elixir, DCE as well. It looks like so he's off to a pretty hot start already. So this matchup is generally favored for. I'm not sure why he didn't go ahead and. Let's take a look again. I'm not sure why he didn't Cynthia. He maybe has a Guzma in hand, so he wants to maybe be aggressive about like targeting down Coco or it doesn't look like it. I don't know why he wouldn't just play Cynthia there, search for more Hoopa, search for more energy, even search for a Guzma so he can start to chase down either the Mewtwo or the Coco from Emmett's side. Now, this matchup is generally favored for Hoopa. It kind of depends on Emmett's techs. We see he's taking Coco Mewtwo. Coco and Mewtwo are both very big in this matchup. Those are the only things that can kind of hit Hoopa. You still want to set up Zoroarks though, because you need to draw cards still to make sure you can chain Acerolas, find your resources, so on. So yeah, he's getting with the Coco and 2 Zoruas, and I like this early flying flip. This allows him to go into turn 2, Zoroark, knock out the Mewtwo. So on the Zoroark side, I mean, I don't think Emmett is playing the Oranguru, so he doesn't have a super solid win condition against Zach's deck, but he does have the Coco and he does have the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo can 2-shot Hoopa, just get rid of the Fighting Fury belts. You can Ace roll it, you can chain your Mewtwo, but you want to try and draw as many prizes as possible without using Coco or Mewtwo. So this early flying flip sets up the Mewtwo to be knocked out by a Golisopod or a Zoroark on the following turn. Another DCE from Zach. He does have the Guzma, and he's just gonna go after a Zorua. This is a fine play here. Takes out the Zorua, pushes up Coco from Emmett, gets 1 Zoroark out. That's really all he was looking for. Was to at least get a Zoroark out. He had 2 in hand, so it's unfortunate he couldn't get another one. I can't really see his hand very well. Trades away the Zoroark though. He has Ultra Ball. At the very least, to find Lele for a supporter. He really wants to get Mewtwo out. Like I said, Mewtwo 2 shots. Hoopa. If the Hoopa has all the energy on it. So I'm not sure why Emmett didn't just Ultra Ball for Lele for a supporter. Play a supporter. Look for more resources. You still need to find your resources. This is not a game where you can just sit on Coco and hope it does all the work for you. 1 more flying flip here is pretty good though, because then it sets up the Mewtwo to knock out the Hoopa. So that's fine. Getting the 1 more flying flip off is fine. I'd like to see him look for more, getting rid of another Zoroark. So I can't see his hand, so I don't know how much I like this. You still want to set up, like ideally, you still want to set up 3 Zoroarks. So when they start ending you, or you just always have access to dig for resources, so you can always get what you need every turn. You still want stuff every turn. You still want to like Acerola chain, stuff like that. So I'm not sure how much I like that. That trade right there, but I can't actually tell what's in his hand. I see a Guzma. I don't know if he, but once again, I don't know if he got that off the trade, so it's hard for me to really critique his trades here, because I can't fully see his hand. Looks like we're finally going to see an Ultra Ball come out. He's thinking about what was Ultra Ball away, and in Golisopod, should be fine. He goes for Mewtwo. Goes for Mewtwo, and then retreat to Zoroark. Pass? I'm kind of confused here. Guzma to Mewtwo. Okay, that's good. That works. Stall it to Mewtwo. Grass to Mewtwo as well. I like that as well. I like the Grass to Mewtwo. Make sure you can attack with the Mewtwo next turn. You set up the Hoopa to get knocked out by Mewtwo, and and hopefully trap his Mewtwo. He hasn't been doing much this game, so I think he's assuming that Zach is dead drawing. So he Ace rolls the Mewtwo, and actually, well, maybe not. So he's gonna knock out this, then it trades back. I almost would have liked to have seen him Ace roll the Hoopa. Yeah, I actually would have liked to have seen him Ace roll the Hoopa. So this Hoopa, you just want to save your Hoopas. Your Hoopas are all that matter. This Hoopa gets knocked out now by the Mewtwo with any energy attachment. But if it Ace rolled the Hoopa, and put the DC on the Mewtwo, use the Mewtwo to knock out the Coco, I actually think I would have liked to have seen that, because you lose a prize no matter what. Then you bench the other Hoopa back down. You could even send up this Hoopa, and then the Mewtwo does nothing to Hoopa if it has no energy on it. You attach to your bench Hoopa then and go from there. That way you don't lose a Hoopa early on. You don't have to worry about finding another one super quickly. See, I would have liked to have seen him actually Ace a roll of this, a DCE to the Mewtwo, use Mewtwo to knock this out, then this Mewtwo comes up as a response probably to knock out the Mewtwo. Maybe Zoroark comes up, but if Zoroark comes up, you don't care. You just go attach to your bench the other Hoopa, attach to your bench Hoopa on the following turn. Yeah, I would like to see the Mewtwo take the knockout here, I think. Yeah, Zach needs any energy. He has the DC already. Losing the Coco is kind of unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen Emmett try and set up a little bit better. Like, play supporters more aggressively. Like, you still need to set up. You should need to draw cards. And that way you can start to chain Acerola. Find your max potion. I don't know what he plays for healing cards. I assume probably at least one Acerola. But even if you can just find the one max potion, that can be enough to win you the game. I assume he does not play the Orangaroo. Let's see what's in the hand. He got Palpad in there too. So that's a lot of Acerolas if he plays 2 Acerolas. And I don't think you would play the Palpad unless you play 2 Acerola. Because otherwise you lose the functionality of that combo. So Zach sends up the Hoopa, but he doesn't really have to do anything. The Mewtwo actually doesn't damage the Hoopa. I don't even know if he had to play this Guzma here. I maybe would have waited on the Goose. Float immediately to Zoroark. I'm not a fan of that as well. The Hoopa is no threat. Now the Float Stone can get Field Blower. You didn't get any use out of it immediately. He didn't even trade this turn, I don't think. Let me go back and see. If your hand's dead, the only thing that can hit this right now is Coco. So go find Coco. Start using Coco. He looks through the discard pile. And then 20. Yeah, so he didn't. I don't think he traded. We're going to confirm he didn't trade. I don't think he traded. 6 off the N. Looks at his hand. Like a pass, Guzma. Guzma pass, draw. I think we're gonna see float retreat. Yeah, he doesn't even trade. There has to be something tradable in his hand. It's like a 7-card hand. I see an 8-card hand actually. I think there has to be something tradable. Look for. He has double puzzle, so he could have gone double puzzle for Coco DCE and then spread. Just do the 20. That's how you have. That's literally how you have to KO this Hoopa. Zach's not pressured at all. You have to pressure him. Right now you have nothing that damages the Hoopa. If the Mewtwo actually did 20 damage, that'd be fine, but it doesn't. You have nothing that pressures the Hoopa, so he can sit here forever. He doesn't care. So you wasted a Float Stone. You wasted a Float Stone. You wasted a turn. You got to let him draw 1 extra card. Like, just go double. Last turn, just go double puzzle. Coco DCE. Float Stone retreat. But trade first. Trade first. Always trade first. There's something in here to trade. There's a. Like there, I think that's a choice band. Why didn't he trade that choice band last turn? Trade the choice band last turn. C2 plus 2 cards. Double puzzle. Coco DC. Float Stone active. Don't waste the Float Stone. You get the use out of the Float Stone. Retreat. Coco spread for 20. You have to pressure him. He's already there counting his deck. He's like, bro, if you're not doing anything, I'm going to deck you out eventually. All right, there we go. The double puzzle. That should have happened last turn. Now you wasted also a DCE on the Mewtwo, because that's how you're retreating, I assume, this turn. Yep. So now you wasted a DCE on the Mewtwo instead of just floating into the Coco. So it's a big, some big missteps here. Big mistakes here by Emmett. Putting himself in a way worse spot. Another DCE is gone. This deck, the Hoopa deck does play some energy removal, I believe. 1 or 2 enhanced hammer. So we see that energy finally on the Hoopa, because now he has to. I mean, he just top decked it, but he didn't have, last turn he wouldn't have played it. If the Coco didn't attack, or if the Coco didn't attack this turn, he wouldn't have played that energy, because then Mewtwo gets a hit for 20. Still just chilling. He has plenty of time to do whatever he wants. There's a second word. That's kind of unfortunate given the max elixirs, but this matchup doesn't revolve too much around being aggressive with the Hoopa. Some other matchups are you want to be a little bit more aggressive. He's got another Hoopa in hand, but he doesn't want to put it down because he doesn't want to take the spread damage from the Coco. Once again, I don't think Emmett traded. So I don't know if Emmett fully understands how this matchup works. The Hoopa deck is not a deck out deck. They run you out of things that can knock out Hoopa, and then they draw their 6 prizes, just punching whatever they want. So I don't think Emmett actually fully understands how this matchup works. I don't think he traded last turn. Like, you need to trade. You need to find your Acerola. You need to keep chaining your Coco. And he's not doing that. That's how you win this game. I don't like this bench. Yeah, his bench is actually pretty unnecessary from Zach. Even if he gets end, his Hoopa's not dying for another 4 turns. He has plenty of time to find another basic Pokemon. Don't let this Hoopa take extra damage if you don't have to. The Latios is definitely unnecessary bench here. I do not. This is just a bad bench by the Latios here, because if he does have the I mean, the Latios can get knocked out by something that's not the Coco. So now that's another prize in play. Now Emmett just has to draw 4 prizes with Coco instead of 5. So this Latios bench is definitely bad. I don't like the Hoopa bench either. Just don't let them take the Coco damage. It's the only thing that's doing anything right now. See a nest ball, so he's gonna get another Pokemon, I assume. I also don't like this if he does. He might be looking through his deck. That's fine. Burn out the card. Please don't grab the Mewtwo. All right, this makes no sense. Now you've put two Pokemon in play. The Mewtwo is actually okay to use later on. It has 130 HP, which means Golisopod can only knock it out with the GX attack, and that's not where his Emmett's energy is ever being attached. Zoroark can't one-shot it, so like later on in the game, this is pretty good to bring out. But why would you let it take a Coco Spread right now, set it up so Zoroark can knock it out all of a sudden next turn? This makes no sense to grab the Mewtwo here at all. I feel like it's a pretty big misstep on Zach's side. It makes no sense to bench either of these. It makes no sense to bench the Hoopa. Yeah, there's no reason to bench either of them. It's okay to, I think it's okay to bench the Hoopa. Actually, it makes no sense to bench the Latios or the Mewtwo though at all. Those actually just don't make any sense to bench. They really don't do anything for him. All right, we finally see a trade out of Emmett. Should have been trading way more aggressively way earlier. I just want to make that note of that. We'll see what he's got. I'm hoping he has Ace. I don't like the DC attached there, especially if he has Acerola, but I can't. Once again, I can't tell what's in his hand. I don't like the Field Blower here. Save it so you can get more. You're not actually getting anything out of it right now. So yeah, so he has Ultra Ball, so we go to Ultra Ball Lele for Acerola. If the combo is in the deck, I would have liked to have seen that. Acerola to Coco Spread again. The Mewtwo currently doesn't knock out the Hoopa. So you would like to like Acerola to Coco, get one more spread off, and then bring the Mewtwo in to knock out the Hoopa. Keep your hand, just keep growing your hand. In this matchup, you can actually, if you get like 2 Zoroark set up, he only has the 1 Zoroark set up, obviously, but if you get 2 Zoroark set up, you can kind of just grow your hand, and you never play a Shuffle Draw supporter. He's going with the Mewtwo. I don't like this. It doesn't really make any sense. Would I rather Coco Spreaded though? I don't know. I guess it's close. I also don't like the Field Blower when you're not taking the knockout on that turn, because now Zach could find another Field Blower or another Fighting Fury Belt, and then you might not be able to find a Field Blower, and you'll have to just hit into it again, which is unfortunate. Energy to Hoopa. Flow Sun Latios, fine, sure. I don't want to see that Hoopa get benched because we're about to go into Coco Spreading. Most likely, Coco Spread is definitely the ideal thing to do here. I really want to see Emmett find Acerola and activate Acerola. I don't know if he plays Acerola, I guess, but I can't imagine he wouldn't be playing Acerola. If he's gathered somewhat more of an understanding of the matchup at this point, I would like to have actually just see him scoop. Yeah, I would actually just like to see him scoop and go to the next game. Because there's no way this matchup can easily be 1-0'd by either side, actually, if played correctly, depending on how it plays out. Because the first game can just take so long. Okay, so he did have the Acerola combo the whole time in his deck. So I guess we kind of want to touch on this. This should have happened way earlier. I don't know if Emmett just doesn't understand how the matchup works. And he finally saw, oh wait, if I Acerola this, I get to reuse this, which means these are my main attackers in the matchup, Coco and Mewtwo. I want to conserve them. Conserve their HP, which just resetting them works. Conserve the energy they use. PCs, whatever. So I don't know if he just realized how the matchup works. But he should have been going for an Acerola play like this way sooner in the game. Yeah, the option to, now that we see the Lele, we've seen Ultra Ball in his hand multiple times. Now we see Lele. He didn't prize all 3 Leles. And he had Acerola on the deck. So we should have seen this happening this should have happened last turn. So when he Cynthia'd, he should have Ultra Balled for Lele for Acerola, Acerola to Coco, bring Coco back down, spread again. Don't play the Field Blower. There's no reason to play the Field Blower yet. You're not taking a knockout. Next, after that, retreat to the Mewtwo, Field Blower, Mewtwo comes in, knocks out the Hoopa. Now you're stuck in an awkward spot where what do you Acerola? If you Acerola the Mewtwo, okay, he's going with Mewtwo. Coco gets knocked out. You don't want Coco to get knocked out, but Coco's spread here is really good. So he's actually going into the Mewtwo again. So Coco's spread's really good because it sets up the Mewtwo. It makes Latios easier to knock out with Zoroark. He goes for the Mewtwo hit, which is fine, I guess. I would have liked to have seen the Coco hit, I think, even though the Coco gets knocked out. You don't lose this game. You're not going to lose, like, you don't lose this matchup through Zach drawing prizes sooner than you do. You lose it when you can no longer knock out Hoopas, and then the Hoopas will take over and draw all their prizes. Weakness policy to Mewtwo. Sure, it's not really a better target, I guess. I don't know how many float stones Zach plays anyway, so leaving a spot for a float stone on the Mewtwo, I don't know how reasonable that is. Now it can definitely get trapped up, though. A Guzma play here from Emmett is pretty good if he wants to trap that for a turn or two, or attempt to. We see DCE from Zach, so I assume he's going to start swinging with Hoopa. Just two-shot the Mewtwo. Emmett, this is where the matchup gets pretty rough when you don't set up enough Zoroarks. He wasn't going out of his way to not set up Zoroarks. I think he just hasn't drawn into his Zorua yet. Grass Energy is probably not the best thing to trade away, but I can't see the rest of his hand. So there's a Zorua. So that should come down. You want to set up multiple trades, like I mentioned before. We're going to see Guzma on the other Hoopa, and he's going to go into Coco Spread. Benches Zorua, though. We want to trade. You still want to trade a lot. There we go. Cool. And he's hoping for this to get stuck for a couple turns. And this is kind of the punish from Zach from playing down so many basic Pokemon, is then there's all these Guzma targets. They all get spread the damage on them. Looking through his deck, I don't know what he's looking for, or if he's looking for anything, or if he's just looking to get rid of the NS ball. That's definitely fine. Just get the NS ball out of your deck, so if you get end next turn, you don't draw it. His Gladion in hand, so I think he's checking what he could Gladion for. That might be what's going on. Either way, you're playing Gladion this turn. I don't think you ever don't play Gladion. I think you're always playing Gladion this turn. You don't have another draw supporter or another supporter in general. You don't play Ultra Ball, so like having extra cards in your hand as Ultra Ball fodder isn't a big deal. So burn the nest ball, play the Gladion. Ooh, there's a float stone. That's pretty nice. He's gonna grab the float stone. Gladion goes in, shuffle the prizes, and the rest of the prizes were pretty whatever. Nothing super important. Like Tina promo and some other stuff were in there. So floating dark. Yep. Yeah, he's going to retreat to Hoopa, take the knockout. And I think Zach pretty much has this game locked up. Emmett wasn't aggressive enough with finding Acerola and being... if you can be aggressive about keeping your one prize attackers in play and doing stuff, that's basically how you'll win the game, because you can actually out-pressure the Hoopa early on if you just hit with Mewtwo, Acerola, Mewtwo, hit with Mewtwo, Acerola, Mewtwo, hit with Mewtwo, spread with Coco, Acerola, Coco, spread with Coco, stuff like that. You can pressure them before they're able to set up enough Hoopas to actually keep up. And that's kind of a win condition. Does he play? Oh, he drew the Gladion off it. I was like, does he play 2 Gladion? Okay, so they do play Ultra Ball. Maybe just 1 or 2 Ultra Ball. I assume 4 Nest and then 1 or 2 Ultra Ball. I was like, second Gladion? No, he actually just got the Gladion out of the prize. Well, it gives him something to do for his turn. And then here's where I didn't like I mentioned before, benching the Mewtwo, benching the Latios. I didn't like it because they become free prizes. Emmett's at 3 prizes now. He can knock out the Latios as a prize eventually if Zach doesn't Acerola it, and then Mewtwo, if he gets enough Acerolls or healing cards for the Mewtwo needs to kill or just knock out 2 Hoopas. So this means it's harder for Zach to do something like go into a oh, hold on. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, benching the Latios, benching the Mewtwo. This now means if he ever is in a situation where he wants to use the resource management, Oranguru is way more awkward, because if this Latios gets knocked out and then he brings resource management Oranguru into play, he goes down. That allows Emmett to go down to 1 prize, only need to KO 1 Hoopa for his last prize. So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of when he, like I mentioned before, I don't like the Latios bench. I don't like the Mewtwo bench. Just go straight Hoopas. Don't give Emmett other options to use other attackers to take knockouts. Force him to have to use the Mewtwo over and over and over again, and then you should just win the game. See the Parallel City, just get rid of Lele. And so here's another one. The Instruct Rangaroo comes down. Once again, if Latios wasn't in play, this would be way different, like way more comfortable to bench this. But now, because the Latios is in play, it doesn't feel good to bench this Rangaroo at all. See Mewtwo in hand, Dark Energy, Dark to there, makes sense. Retreat. And probably a pass. Yep, pass. So now a Guzma play here is fine from Emmett to take out the Instruct Rangaroo if he can find it. So he's going to go with the Palpad. Has to be Guzma Acerola, right? And I actually think if Emmett does play 2 Acerola between the Palpad and the puzzles, he should be favored in this matchup, actually. I don't know if he does, but if he does play 2 Acerola plus the Palpad, you should be able to pretty easily outlast the Hoopa deck. Once again, I don't know we'll have to see as the game develops. We know there's one AzulGG back in the deck, and it's possibly plays 2. Really hard for me to judge these trades because I can't really see his hand very well. He's definitely looking for Guzma or AzulGG would be fine on this turn to just reset the Mewtwo. We'll see what he's got. It looks like he's gonna pass. Yep. Pass. So I think he had a DCE in hand. He does. So he could have retreated to Mewtwo and swung, but obviously you don't want to lose to Mewtwo. If he had AzulGG in hand, he definitely should have retreated and swung. Retreat AzulGG and Mewtwo. Or AzulGG and Mewtwo at least for the turn, and then plan to retreat the turn after is what I mean. We see N and some other stuff. If there is Guzma, I would still like to see like probably a crossing cut actually on the Oranguru. Lower blower. He might just be crossing cutting this turn, actually just get out of the active, and then it can't get stuck because they'll still have the energy on it. Just crossing cut to the Zoroark, yeah. This is actually pretty cute. Crossing cut to the Zoroark. Next turn, you're hoping to find a way to switch into the, or not switch, find AzulGG for the Mewtwo. Heal the Mewtwo, retreat into the Mewtwo, then attack with the Mewtwo would be fine. He ideally wants to go after that Oranguru, not just because it has the energy on it now, but just cut off Zach's draw power, slow Zach down. Also, he wants to get rid of the ideally get rid of the Latios, so it can't be AzulGG. See Cynthia finally, a draw supporter from Zach. I think Zach will definitely be looking to AzulGG the Latios for sure. He wants to get that out of play. So yeah, if Emmett can chase the Latios next turn, that'd be huge. Knock that out with the Armor Press, and then maybe Guzma the turn after, knock out the Oranguru, and then he just has to figure out a way to KO one Hoopa. Maybe even give up 2 prizes, and then look to N plus swing with the Mewtwo on something after he can heal it, maybe. He definitely wants to try and heal the Mewtwo. So next turn he could like, I don't know. He just needs to find, AzulGG or Guzma. 1, 2. Double puzzle in hand. Not great. He can get back the Lele and the Palpad. Lele for a supporter he wants. Not sure if he would want AzulGG or Guzma at this point. I think I like Guzma, but I'm not sure. We see the Ultra Ball. No Lele in there. I see one AzulGG. I can't tell what the rest is. There's at least one AzulGG, one Guzma in there. Sorry for my phone. At least one AzulGG, one Guzma. So we're going to go with the double puzzle. Probably has to be for Lele Palpad. Looks like DCE Palpad is what he's going for. Maybe he has a playable supporter. Once again, it's hard for me to see his hand. DCE Coco. Okay, I'm not sure I'm a big fan of Coco at this point. I don't think Coco does much. He goes for N. I don't, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that play right there. The Coco doesn't really do a ton this anymore. I guess if he gets off 2 spreads, it'll be okay. 3 cards. Yeah, if he gets off 2 spreads, it'll actually be okay. If he gets off 2 spreads, it'll set up all the Hoopas to get knocked out by Mewtwo. Yeah, actually, I like this. As long as the Coco doesn't somehow get knocked out here. Oh, he has Parallel City in play. That's unfortunate. So he's limited to 3, which means he can't bench the Coco. I'm not sure what happens here. Maybe he shuffles it all in with the Coco and then just draws 3. That seems like a pretty reasonable fix, but that's actually going to hurt quite a bit on Emmett's side. I actually don't know if he can win now. If the Parallel City wasn't there, that was actually he was set up to maybe win the game, even though I don't think he played the early game substantially well. I think he was in a pretty good spot to win the game. It's possible Zach gets a 2 prize card penalty here. We'll have to see. It doesn't look like it. On to Zach's turn. I'm sure if he did get a 2 prize card penalty, we'd see. Well, he doesn't have a Guzma in hand. Actually, does he? No, it's a Cynthia. Truck for 1. Probably to see the Cynthia. Maybe not. I don't know. His deck's pretty small right now. He's just going to swing. Yeah, just hold the Cynthia. I think it's supposed to do a little bit more than 60. I think we're looking at, it's 80 or 90 from the Hoopa's attack, I think. I think it's 80. So we should see 20 more damage on the Golisopod, unless I missed something. Let's check. 90 on it. Hoopa does 80. So I think we should be seeing 20 more damage on the Glycopod on the attack. We're just gonna check this real fast and confirm. Here we go, and attack for 80 does 60. Yeah, supposed to have 20 more damage on the Glycopod. Here we immediately see Emmet ace a roll of the Glycopod, which it doesn't make sense because you can't win the game if you do that. You have to ace a roll of the Mewtwo. If the Mewtwo dies, you don't win the game. So you have to ace a roll of Mewtwo. Ace a roll of Mewtwo, retreat the Glycopod, I think is the play he has to go for here. Instead, he goes for ace a roll of Glycopod, which means there's no way for him to win. I don't think. I guess Glycopod can chase down some stuff with Guzmas the following turns. Hitting this, he's out of puzzles, so hitting this doesn't really do anything for him. He hits into this, it's going to get knocked out, and then he's never going to be able to hit a Hoopa again anyways. So I don't really understand the point of him going after this Hoopa like that. Doesn't really make any sense. So this is once again like into the late game when you get end. I think I mentioned this earlier. So why you want ideally 3 Zoroark setup, which should be pretty easy to set up as Emmet, because you're not really being super pressured super hard early on. So you ideally want to set up 2 or 3 Zoroarks. So when you start getting end into the late game like this, it's pretty easy to draw out of it. I don't think Emmet can win, barring some prize penalties, because there's only 2 Pokemon in play that can't be hit by GX Pokemon, or that can be hit by GX Pokemon. So there's no way for him to draw prizes. He's out of puzzles, so he can't get back Mewtwo or Koko to try and close out the game on the non-Hoopa Pokemon. So I'm almost positive there's no way for Emmet to win this game. Maybe he has something prized that we haven't seen yet. He could Gnaw, but then the Wimpod would get knocked out, and then he could follow up with a Ram from his Zorua. But then at that point, he doesn't have a way to knock out the Oranguru or the Latios. So I'm pretty sure he inevitably going to lose this game. We'll see the first impression on the Oranguru. Unless he has something prized that we don't know about yet. I'm pretty sure this game is over, and Emmet should just scoop and go to game 2, save himself the time. They only have 20 minutes left in the round, or 19 minutes. So it's very possible that the Hoopa Zach is able to 1-0 him at this point, and just then the second game just won't finish. We'll see another draw for turn from Emmet. Maybe he's thinking that Zach will deck out. I don't think that's going to happen. Plays Bridget, looks through his deck. There's a Wimp. Oh, there's Koko left. Oh, that's right. Koko is still in the deck, actually. That changes things. I forgot Koko was still in the deck. I thought it got used up and put in the discard pile, but no, he puzzled for it, tried to use it, couldn't use it because his bench was full. So Koko's back. So yeah, he can spread twice, knock out the bench Hoopa, and then Guzma KO the Latios to close out the game. He's going with a trade. He needs either Guzma. Hang on, once here. Guzma's pretty good though. Guzma DCE to Koko is also nice. He's 3 cards left. I think there's two DCE left in his deck. I don't know if he has any Guzma left. He better have a Guzma left. Okay, I think he's out of supporters. Guzma's. So there's no way for him to chase the Latios. So he inevitably will lose. We see he concedes there. Going on to game 2, we are going to have Emmet starting. I think I just saw him. No, this should be fine. Yeah. So I'm not sure about opening the Wimpod. Wimpod's just not great in this matchup. Except for the fact that you can retreat to one of your better attackers that can hit the Hoopas early on. So I guess I don't hate it. And you can use it later on to like KO stuff. I would have liked to have seen a third Zorua if he doesn't have a supporter, or he doesn't need to use Lele or something in his hand. Definitely insufficient shuffling from Emmet. He's definitely trying to play a little bit faster this game. He knows they're low on time. Still got to shuffle properly. He should have scooped the last game sooner. He played the early turns super poorly, and still kept it. He still had it close at the end, but he played the first couple turns really the first like half of the game, maybe even a little bit past that, pretty poorly. He didn't seem to know what was going on, or like have a game plan at all. Looks like we might see a warning for Emmet for insufficient shuffling going on. I'm not sure. That's definitely reasonable. That was like he shuffled it maybe once or twice and put it down for the cut, I think. I don't know if I don't know what the discussion is going on here. Skip ahead. All right, we see retreat to Coco, and then we see an N from Zach. Turn 1. Attach Psychic Fighting Fury Belt. Pass to Emmett. I don't like the Psychic attachment because there's potential he draws into a DCE, which means he can use the other attack and start punching the Mewtwo and the Coco. So I would like to see him not attach a Psychic. I don't feel like there's a reason to. I mean, you only play a couple Psychics, but I feel like the DCE would be fine. The DCE would be, I mean, the DCE is definitely better if you hit the DCE, but it would be fine to take the risk of whiffing to just get the DCE. Because it's likely you're probably going to the other attack, the first attack anyways next turn. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Emmett gets the Zoroark, has Field Blower. If he's keeping the hand, okay, he's not keeping the hand, so I'm fine with the Field Blower there. He's not keeping the hand, so playing the end is fine. I'm still really curious. I think because I do think if Emmett plays 2, if Emmett does play 2 Acerola plus the Palpad, I think he should just be favored in this matchup. So I'm really curious to see. I wish I knew their exact lists because it'd be better for me to critique the play. But if he is running that, I feel like he's just favored at this point. I actually don't think he has enough time to close out a game. Unfortunately, we'll have to see. There's 1 Acerola in hand I saw, so that's a good start. He can get off the Coco spread initially, and then if if Zach puts another energy on the whatever it's called anyways, he can Acerola the Coco or just retreat to the Mewtwo, DCE, knock out the active Latios. Floatstone to Hoopa. Probably want to Floatstone the active. Checking Max Elixir first makes sense. Check the Max Elixir. Max Elixir hits. Whenever you have random effects, you always want to check random effects first. Things that aren't guaranteed. Order Pad, Max Elixir, Random Receiver, Super Scoop Up. Help you decide how to play out the rest of your hand. So yeah, nice to see the Max Elixir first hits. So now maybe it'll change what he's going to do with the rest of the hand. We see Super Rod, I think a switch maybe. So yeah, he's committing to the first attack. And if you're going to like, I don't know. So he has the N in hand, so it's possible he could get the DCE. But then he doesn't play for it. So with the first hand where he attaches Psychic, he should have just end first and looked for the DCE if you're going to commit to this plan. So you want to like kind of be consistent with how you're playing out. And so it's like he's like, okay, I'm content with the first attack, using the first attack, even if I have the option of getting the second attack off. So in his first hand, when he attaches Psychic Energy, if he's consistent, if he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go into the first attack. Once again, if he's just gonna go into the first attack, look for the DCE on the first N. Don't attach a Psychic immediately, and then be like, okay, I whiffed, but I hit the Dark Energy. Attach Dark to active because then next turn I can for sure use the first attack. Because he's gonna end this turn almost for sure. Weakness Policy active. That's actually pretty nice. Protects him from the Mewtwo. Ooh, he's gonna go for the Guzma on the Mewtwo. I actually kind of like this too. Get the 120 and the 30 on the Coco is actually super relevant. Did I say 120? Meant 60. It's the 60 on the Mewtwo and then punches the Coco. And he did just see Emmett use a Field Blower. Excuse me. I think we see another one coming down though, so that's pretty good for Emmett. Acerola. Okay. All right, let's talk about this real fast. What are we looking at? What changed? All right, so he's got Field Blower. That's great, but you want to trade first. See all your options before you make a choice. Things could change. Things could change depending on what you draw. Trade first. Double trade. Okay, look at the rest of the hand. Okay, Field Blower Acerola still might play, but something might change because you just saw +4 cards. So this is very poor ordering. There's stuff to trade out of hand too. There's an Ultra Ball. And then he chooses just not to trade. Don't you want to Acerola again next turn? Doesn't that mean you need to see more cards to hopefully see the Acerola? Like, this is pretty poor play from Emmett. Like, just like standard Zoroark play is pretty poor. This is just like standard Zoroark stuff. I feel like everyone should know how to do this at this point. The Zoroark's been around so long. There's been so many dominant Zoroark decks. Everyone's played a Zoroark deck or 2 up to this point. This is pretty standard stuff. And then he just chooses not to trade in general for whatever reason. He has an Ultra Ball in hand. The Ultra Ball does nothing. He has the Lele in hand. Keep the Lele for sure. You can find Guzma, maybe second Acerola next turn. The Ultra Ball, what's the Ultra Ball doing for you? Absolutely nothing. Trade the Ultra Ball. Look at 2 more cards. Trade something else out of your hand. Okay, so we do see Zach did get these 2 less prizes to win. I just noticed that up at the top. It shouldn't be a huge deal in this matchup, because Zach should generally run Emmett out of options before he actually draws 6 prizes. That's basically how the Hoopa deck works. So we'll see. So really poor from Emmett, because now he has just less options for next turn, right? He didn't trade twice. He lost out on seeing +4 cards. If you lose out on seeing +4 cards, you have that many less options, right? So with that many less options, I mean, you could just nerf your next turn for no reason, and that's basically what's happening right now. We see the Instructor Rangaroo from Zach. It's the only non-Hoopa thing on the field, so it's okay. I mean, Emmett's drawn 1 prize. You have to put some in play. He's instructing for 1, but I think I see Guzma Sycamore in hand, so I'm not a huge fan of the Rangaroo here, really. They're all the DCs though. I think there was 3 DC in the Max Elixir there. Guzma Sycamore. So I'm not a huge fan of getting the Instruct. I'd rather just see another Hoopa or just nothing for the turn and just pass. That's also fine. Like there's no need to be that aggressive. Now we're finally starting to see trades from Emmett. Super late. I don't know. Like this is it's just poor play. It's just very poor play from Emmett. Like should have traded at least twice last turn, and he just didn't. Second trade, 1, 2. I want to see Lele for Acerola. He maybe only plays the 1 Acerola. Let's find out right now. If there's a second Acerola, that'd be sick, and there's definitely a possibility that could win. The Guzma, the Rangaroo is nice, and then you get the Coco spread off. That's pretty nice on Emmett's side. We'll see what Zach draws. If he draws an energy, ooh, there is the energy. He'll be able to just go ahead and Guzma. He has the Guzma in hand. Guzma up, knock out the Mewtwo. It's not a huge deal for Emmett. Emmett's still in it for sure. Just kind of annoying that he had it that turn. He was hoping to like at least buy a turn off of the Guzma. Once again, I just want to reiterate, should have been 2 trades deeper on the last turn. He had a reasonable play this last turn, but now he can maybe find, I don't know. He wants to dig for puzzles now because he wants to get Mewtwo back. There's plenty of stuff to trade. Let's see some trades. There we go. 1 trade. Bench the Zorua, set up another Zoroark. I don't think you need a double puzzle yet, so don't worry about that. Just trade again. There's another Ultra Ball in your hand. Keep the Field Blower. Trade the other Ultra Ball. Or there's a Choice Band maybe too. Trade the Choice Band. Don't trade the Zorua. Set up a third Zoroark. Set up a third Zoroark. Zach's gonna end you eventually, and you're gonna need to draw out of it. Extra trade could be the cards you need. Bench the Zorua. Trade that other Ultra Ball in your hand. What are you saving the Ultra Ball for? I see the Ultra Ball in that hand. What are you saving it for? There's no reason to save the Ultra Ball. Right there. I see it. Unless it's not, but it looks like an Ultra Ball to me. Lele, Guzma here on, he might be going for Guzma on Rangaroo. I'm actually fine with this. Bench of Zorua though. I would like to have seen the bench of the Zorua. He plays Floatstone. I mean, I guess at this point, maybe if he puts a Lele and play bench of Zorua is not great. Don't trade away the Zorua first though. There was an Ultra Ball to trade away. Trade away that over the Zorua. That way you have the option of the third Zoroark. I guess if he is going to Lele for the Guzma though, you kind of want the extra bench spot open, so I understand that actually. Retreat, yeah, Guzma back out the Rangaroo. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I like that. Yeah, he's got the Floatstone in hand even. Yeah, I think I would have still liked to have seen the third Zorua. Yeah, bench a third Zorua there. You definitely bench third Zorua. You want to see more cards. That allows you to see more cards. So just see more cards. Once again, not sure about benching Mewtwo. It's a little bit safer right now. Definitely was not super safe last game when Zach started benching non-Hoopa Pokemon. But the Mewtwo's like not terrible right here. Gonna get another Hoopa. I mean, I don't love it. I think he could have held off on that. Like, Emmett's just gonna try and Coco Spread again. So why give him more targets to Coco Spread on? I guess that's the reason I don't like the Mewtwo actually, because now the Mewtwo is will be put in Riotous Beating or First Impression range, which you just don't want. There's the Parallel City from Zach. It's kind of unfortunate that Emmett hasn't been able to find Parallel City first, because he definitely would want to lock Zach down to 3. Simply so he doesn't get Parallel City himself, or he makes it harder. I don't actually know if Zach plays Field Blower. He probably plays the other stadium, whatever it's called. He's maybe actually going to look to like ditch one of his own Pokemon off his own bench. Zach might here. We'll see. I think it's best to just limit Emmett to 3 though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just better to limit Emmett to 3 bench and then just go from there. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate Emmett has not been able to find his own Parallel Cities up to this point. He hasn't been able to find his Parallel Cities first. I don't like this weakness policy on the Oranguru. You play Floatstone. Why would you want to put weakness policy on the Oranguru? Put it on one of the Hoopas, actually, because they're going to get knocked out anyways, and they're going to be up there being aggressive. You don't need to ever float stun them out. This is just kind of dumb after seeing the way Emmett's been playing the game. Like, Emmett has literally just Guzma'd your Oranguru twice. Why would you not want the option of float stone on your Oranguru? It makes no sense to do this. Especially, like, Emmett has literally, like, been broadcasting, don't do this because I keep bringing it up. You need to find a way to move it. Float stone is a way to move your Oranguru. I don't like that at all. I'd rather see it on... it's even better on the Mewtwo because the Mewtwo can at least attack. You don't burn a DCE just to retreat the Oranguru. Which will just happen. He holds the Parallel City here. I think I would have liked to have seen him Parallel City Emmett to 3. I don't see a reason not to. And you also just give... Now you just give Emmett a chance to find his own Parallel City, and sure, you could discard your Hoopa. We are running out of time here, so this is going to be a 1-0 win for Zach, but we're going to go through the rest of it anyways. I'm sure you might... Emmett putting you to 3 might allow you to draw on Hoopa, but I think Emmett would still rather not be paralleled himself. So I think you should definitely, as Zach... I would like to see the hold on the Flowstone too. I don't think you are ever... And then we see an immediate... Okay, hold on. All right. Did he trade twice at least? Trade... Okay, he did. All right, he traded twice. He traded before. I was about to, like, definitely trade before you go for Lele for the supporter. Because if you just draw into the supporter, now you just have a Lele on your bench for no reason. So Zach playing the Parallel City now would have cut off the plays like this. There's no reason for him not to cut off a play like this. It stops Emmett from using his own Parallel City. Emmett definitely doesn't want to be Parallel City, so Emmett will definitely try and Parallel City Zach if he gets it. So there's no reason for Zach to have not played down his own Parallel City last turn, I think. Cuts off the Lele play, so on. We only have 1 minute left, so this is going to be a 1-0 for Zach, almost for sure. See the Ace roll on the Coco. Coco's going to come back down, DCE. Retreat. So I think that means he does play 2 Ace Arola, right? So I think if Emmett had played game 1 a little bit smarter, kind of went in with the game plan, I think he would have just won. I don't know if an Ace Arola is prize, so that does hurt the overall game plan. But if you play the 2 Ace Arola and the Pal Pad, all you do is go chain Ace Arolas early, use Lele's to find Ace Arolas. Actually, I don't like opening Wimpod because you want to leave your bench open for Lele. So, like, the way you want to, like, play out your initial turns as this deck, if you play the double Ace Arola Pal Pad, is you try and open Zorua, even let the Zorua get knocked out. That's fine. Don't set up Gliscopod at all until maybe later in the game. Set up your Zoroarks. Leave room for Lele to find your Ace Arolas. Leave room on your bench for Lele to find Ace Arolas. Leave room on your bench for Coco, for Mewtwo. Ace Arola twice. Pal Pad. Both of them back in. Trade into it. Double puzzle for probably like a Guzma or DC. Whatever you need. Plus Pal Pad. Pal Pad for both the Ace Arolas again. Put the Ace Arolas back in. And you get so many Ace Arolas so early on that Zach's just not really able to keep up. So I think if he had, it depends if the second Ace Arola was prized or not. It seems like it was in game 1, but that's how you kind of want to execute the game plan. And you have a lot of time. Hoopa's not that aggressive. They're not aggressive about KOing your own. Hoopa's not aggressive about KOing your relevant attackers, your Coco and your Mewtwo. So you have time to, like, find stuff and so on. And you can even let one get knocked out and you double puzzle for it later, so on. So yeah, I think this is just going to be a 1-0 for Zach. Emmett's going through his hand, but I don't think it's going anywhere. That's the last turn. Yeah, so Zach takes a win there. Game 1, I think was played pretty poorly by Emmett. I think if it had been played a little bit cleaner, he definitely could have taken game 1. There was a lot of, and just in general, just not trading or trading poorly. I couldn't tell if what he traded away was correct or not because I couldn't really see his hand. Definitely just not trading was not correct a lot of the time there from Emmett. So pretty poor Zoroark resource management, if that's what you want to call it. Overall, game 1, it didn't seem like he knew what his game plan was, which when the first time you approach this matchup, you probably won't know immediately. It's hard. It might be hard to figure out. It seemed like at the end of game 1, he's kind of figured it out. Game 2, I think he definitely had to figure it out. He knew what he wanted to do. He knew how he was supposed to win the game or approach the matchup. But it was kind of too little too late. Like I said, if either of these decks wins game 1, they can definitely 1-0 the other one pretty efficiently. I think that's all I've got to touch on that one. Thanks for watching, guys. This was round 8. Be coming at you soon with round 9, and then we're heading into the day 2 Swiss rounds after that. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. If those of you who are watching who don't know, I do live stream on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter. All that stuff, all that good stuff is going to be in the description down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace.